Hi everyone, I'm Titania and welcome to the Tarot with Titania reading for the week. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like. It helps to manage the algorithm so more people can be in touch with this information at this time. The reading of the week this week is for July 30th through to August 6th. So I'm just going to invite you to take 3 deep breaths with me, pull our energy into sync wherever you are, even recorded later. Close your eyes and pull yourself into the present moment. Taking 3 deep breaths, landing in your body and just being right here, right now, in this present moment. To see a tree root coming out of the base of your spine, anchoring you deep into Mother Earth, connecting you, grounding you, bringing you to the present moment beautifully. Knowing that that tree root is also a conduit through which anything that no longer serves you can easily pass down into Mother Earth and become compost for new growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here to do the reading of the week. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information that we most need to receive right now, and to provide that in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for our highest and greatest well-being, and the well-being of anyone whose life we touch. And of this beautiful planet. We want this to be good for the highest and greatest good of all concerned, including all life that we share this planet with and the planet herself. I'd like to call upon my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening now and in the future, as well as an overlighting angel of communication to ensure that this exchange happens in a clear, clean, timely manner, that we address all that needs to be addressed in our collective heart and mind for this week, for our collective highest and greatest good, that we may be agents for change. I call upon the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions, creating a sacred container of light, of love, of wisdom, and of beauty across time and space. Wherever you are, know that you are surrounded by these angelic presences, creating clarity for you and grounding. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for being here. We set the tone for clarity, for ease, for upliftment, for peace, for transformation, and anything that doesn't match these frequencies is welcome to go now. Let's get started, shall we? Okay. So I was inspired in my meditation to pull body, mind, heart, and spirit cards today for this coming week. It felt like it was important and relevant, so that's what I'm going to do. So what do we need to know in body, mind, heart, and spirit to be most aligned with the flow of energy, planetary energy at this time for our collective highest and greatest good and the highest and greatest good of all life here on this planet at this time? And what do we need to know in body, mind, heart, and spirit for the coming week? Okay. Body. We have the Justice card. Another name for it would be karma. It's this idea that we can engage with our life. We don't have to be a passive participant in it. We can step forward, catch the ball, so to speak, in the bounce and change the rhythm. We are, our bodies are incredibly resilient when they're properly supported. We've learned so much about immunity through this whole crazy shenanigans over the past this past year or two, about how do we take care of ourselves. I think for a lot of us that's come up, and we've investigated it and learned more about who we are and how we work and what serves us. And we do know that fundamentally as human beings, we need clean water, clean food, rest, exercise, joy, love. All of those things are very, very important, and I've probably forgotten some. But what this card is telling us is that we can take our power around this. We can get into the driver's seat. We don't have to wait for somebody else to do us or to tell us to do it. We don't have to wait for the doctor to say, you really should do something about that. We can do something about it. We can take it on right here, right now. We can step up and change the outcome by interacting intentionally, consciously, and powerfully. We are incredible manifestors, incredibly powerful co-creators with the divine life force, and we don't have to sit by and just wait for things to happen. We can deliberately and intentionally move things in a good way for our bodies. So that's what this card is all about. A level of body, it's justice, and it's major arcana. So this is important. Going forward, I think we really all need to realize that we have to start taking responsibility for our well-being on all levels. And it starts with our bodies. What are you putting in your body? It's important to pay attention and make better choices. Okay, that was the body, Mind is the next card. Ooh, illusion. So here we have an angel, and she's just overwhelmed by all of these heart shapes sort of above her. It's sort of caught up in the illusion, caught up in that which is not real. The story, the smoke and mirrors, the clouds. The mind is ensnared, so to speak. So this card of illusion is sitting in the seat of our minds. And our minds in our Western culture, we're very mind oriented. So much so that we're often not even in our bodies. And our bodies are our access to our power and to our present moment. So it's really important for us to realize that we need to start landing in our body more intentionally. That's that intentional card. You know, we need to choose this for ourselves. Not because anybody else says it, but because it's what's best for us. Taking that deep breath, landing in the body, bringing the mind into the field of the body, uniting all aspects of the self. And when we do that, then we can connect to our intuition, because the intuition is connected to the body. And we know better then what's true for us and what isn't. We have a better discernment about the illusion. So many illusions, really, that are existing on the planet at this time. And we can cut through the nonsense. We can cut through the noise when we are deeply grounded in ourselves and in our present moment, in our field, in our own bodies. That's where our point of power is. That's what we need to access. And so this is just being mindful. Being mindful. Is it true? What stories are we being fed? Are they true? What's true, in my experience, is right here, right now, is what I know. And the longer and the better and the more often I can stay here and respond to the life that's directly around me, the more powerful and satisfied and effective and congruent I can be in responding to my life experience. But, you know, we're surrounded by all kinds of media, and the media tells all kinds of different stories. And it can really cloud our judgment, our discernment, our capacity to respond from the heart. So just a reminder, an awareness of where is your mind. Bring it back to the now. Take that deep breath, land in your heart, land in your body, and be here now. It's the way forward for humanity. That's why I'm harping on it a lot these days. Okay. Heart. Planning. Okay, so first off, this card is a wand, and wands are about creativity, inspiration, and passion. The story with the card is the shepherd has gone to the top of the nearest peak with the flock to look out at the lay of the land and to determine what is the best direction. What has the most forage, what is the most attractive, the most appealing, the most helpful direction to move in. So this is sitting on the level of the heart. We need to follow the good of our heart. We need to move in the direction of our heart's asking, of our heart's calling, of our highest satisfaction, our highest enthusiasm, and whatever that means for you in this moment. And you won't know if you're in the head. It's caught up in the illusions. It's very difficult to determine what you want. It's through the body that we know what we want. Our desires are part of this incredible physical apparatus. Our yearnings, our heart's longings, it's all connected to the body. So, spending time in your heart, looking for that enthusiasm piece, looking for that inspiration piece, looking for that drawing you forward piece. What is calling you into more life? What is calling you into more enjoyment? And planning. In other words, planning, like the story, the shepherd is like choosing the direction that it will best serve. Same thing with our hearts. We need to take our hearts in the direction that best serves our hearts. And that calls us forward into greater expansion of our hearts. And ultimately, we have spirit, the card of the spirit. That's a funny card. Who would have thunk it? So we have the card of possessiveness. And what I think is really I'm always amused by this card, but we all do it. We're human. We have this woman here, and she's got all her precious jewels, and she's clutching them to her chest, and she's looking around, wondering, is somebody going to come and take them? It's this holding kind of energy. And that's very interesting in the position of spirit. I think we need to be mindful about where we might be holding, because when we hold, we tense and the energy doesn't flow. So, How do we loosen, relax, and allow the energy to flow more? You know, sometimes we might feel like we have to do things a certain way or be a certain way on our spiritual path. There's got to be a certain way forward, and we have to do this. Shoulds. We should all over ourselves. And I think what this is reminding us is that while it's good to have a practice, we need to honor the heart in the process. We're not just one thing here. We're all of these things combined. And how do we come to a more balanced and responsive place in our life experience? Well, again, being in the body, listening to the heart, listening to the enthusiasm, understanding that the mind is helpful for discernment and it's not the boss. And then when it comes to spirit, noticing where we're holding, where we're seizing, where we might be clutching something, rather than allowing the energy to flow and trusting and knowing it's all going to be okay. It's very human. We prefer to know what's going on. There's comfort in knowing what is familiar, and there's a lot of discomfort in change and in not knowing. But on the spirit level, there's this sort of holding on to the material, because of course this is a pentacle, this is the earth element. And so there's this sort of holding on to the material and to the material. Clutching that as if that's where our salvation is going to come from. And truly, that's not the case. Everything comes when we flow. Everything comes that's good for us when we line up with our hearts. Everything that we want is in the direction of our heart's calling. And when we shift our life and start living like that, things change dramatically very, very quickly. So just noticing, where are you holding? So here's our cards for this week. The body, karma, taking responsibility. You know, what you put in your body is what you're going to get out. So start being responsible for this. This is very, very important. Stop letting other people take care of your body. You drive the bus. You make decisions. And you recruit other people to support you in your intentions for your body, for your good health, for your greater well-being. And practicing discernment in the cloud of illusion that we're surrounded by. And that comes by dropping into the body, dropping into the heart, being here now and responding. There's so much that we don't have any impact on. You can watch the news all you want, but really, does it change anything? What does change is you being right here, right now in your life. Unless you're one of the bigger players, I suppose, in which case you have a responsibility to do the right thing for all of us. So being mindful of the illusion of the mind and the word snare, ensnared is the word that keeps coming up with this. So just being mindful about where is your mind being ensnared and how do you come back to a place of clarity? Deep breath, drop into the body, breathe deeply and be here now. That's the best way to respond to the unknown or the overwhelm or the uncertainty. The heart. The heart is all about this energy of planning, but it's this, again, projecting yourself forward into the areas of your life that are most rewarding, most inspiring, most stimulating, most congruent, most fulfilling. That's your trajectory. That's what you're looking to, and that's what you're wanting to achieve on the level of the heart. And then on the level of spirit, recognizing that there's an attachment to the material here that we need to transcend and that we're holding. And any time we hold or we seize, the energy ceases to flow. We need to relax and breathe and let the energy flow. That's the best way to connect to our spirit, to bring our spirit into the body and to be in the field of us, all aspects, here and now. It's what it's all about. It's what all of these practices teach us, is how to be all pulled together in the present moment, right here, right now. And that's a point of power. So leverage it. Okay, I think that's pretty clear. Now, sorry, I thought I paused it. I guess I didn't. I'm still getting used to all this. I hope you guys like the new setup. I am planning on getting a new camera for this one so that maybe I'm not so fuzzy. My husband has been helping me to work out technical difficulties. I think we got the sound down fairly well, but it's a work in progress. But I'd love to know your thoughts about whether you like having, you know, the big screen and seeing me at the same time, if that's something that you appreciate. A couple of you have mentioned you already that you like that. It just helps me to know what direction to take it in. Okay, I'd like to just pull the card for the reading of the week. Sorry, not the reading of the week. The card to grow on. A little distracting. Okay, what do we need to know? What is our summary card for the energy for this week? That body, mind, heart, and spirit energy is pretty clear. But just the one card, if we're going to have one card going forward, what is the energy of that? So, Spirit, what is it that we need to know for this coming week? Our one card to grow on, to keep us congruent and aligned and moving in the best direction possible for our highest and greatest good in service to life and this beautiful planet we call home. Major Arcana. We have a few of those today, eh? This one is the Judgment. It's called Judgment. And if you look, you see there's a hand rising up of the dark, heavier, denser layers into the light, reaching for the light, striving for the light. This card has to do with, there are two energies I want to draw your attention to with this one. So first of all, judgment usually implies making somebody else wrong. There's a heaviness to it and an outwardly kind of focused energy to it. And again, it's about that making other people wrong for their choices, which doesn't serve anybody. Ultimately, we're here to have our own life experience and to do things in good ways. I mean, we have to have cultural and societal agreements. Please don't misunderstand me. But in terms of how we choose to live our lives, we're here to have our own unique expression and to make different choices than everybody else makes, because we have to follow what we're called to, what our heart is calling us to. So the higher octave of judgment is discernment. And the energy of discernment is all about, how does this impact me? What does this feel like to me? Is this congruent for me? Is it appropriate for me? It's not about somebody else. It's not about their energy. It's back on me. Where am I in my life experience? Is it serving me? Is it for my highest and greatest good? And if it isn't, I get to choose to drop it. Or if it is, I get to choose to accept it, embrace it, and move it in the right direction. But the only person who can make that choice is me, for me. Just like the only person who can make that decision is you, for you. We have to practice discernment this week. That's what this card is telling us. And it's a major arcana. So being mindful of this distinction between judgment and discernment is really important for our growth as spiritual beings, our growth as something bigger than a bag of bones and flesh. Because we are so much more, and we live in a completely different way when we let go of judgment and we step into discernment and wisdom for ourselves and allow others to make their choices and have their path and do the same for ourselves. There's tremendous freedom, and it's wonderful. So there we go. Our card to grow on for this week is judgment, or, as I prefer to say, discernment. So letting go of judging others and instead focusing on making the best choices possible for you from the inside out, not the outside in. Well, my friends, that's the reading for the week. If you liked it, please like. If you haven't already, but you enjoy coming back every week, please subscribe. These readings are posted every Friday around noon for our collective highest and greatest good, and I would love to share this with more people on the planet for our collective higher and greater good, because I think we're really moving in good directions, and we all need good support. And I appreciate you, each one of you, being here and choosing the journey. Thank you. Lots of love and clear discernment for the week ahead. Thank you, Creator. The reading is at an end. I am so grateful for this work, for this opportunity to do this good work, and I ask that you bless each and every one of us listening to this recording this week. Help us to discern what is true and appropriate for us in every moment, and to let go of judgment and to let go of making others wrong for doing their best with their lives. The reading is at an end. Thank you to all those who've been participating and supporting us here today. And thank you to each of you. And I'll look forward to seeing you again next week. Lots of love.